Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Thursday, February the 14th. We just got a 3-game slate today, and this is the last slate before the All-Star break, so there's going to be no games on till next Thursday, I believe, or next Friday. So that's going to be a week of me not uploading any videos. It's definitely going to be a nice break, just take off of DFS, take off of making videos. I'm not sure if I'm going to make like any strategy type videos. I think I did last year. Last year I made a couple videos like on bankroll management and stuff like that just to keep the channel active. Haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that this year, but obviously no NBA games, so won't be making any NBA videos for the next week. But definitely want to grind out this slate, get one more slate in there before we take a break. So we're going to go through each position, talk about some of the guys I like on this 3-gamer. We'll look at the player pool. Look at my 5 plays, 5 guys for DraftKings, and 5 guys specifically for Yahoo. 5 guys specifically that I like on each site. Before we do get started, though, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, so that way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. So looking at point guard today, this is definitely a position I think we're going to want to pay up at. We got Russell Westbrook, Kemba Walker, Jrue Holiday, Trae Young. Some really good options here. Dennis Smith Jr. I think is a really good option in the mid-range. There's not really any value here. Like, I guess the one value play I would go to would probably be like DJ Augustine at 4,400, but he is not a guy that I feel like I'm going to be playing a ton of today. So definitely want to start off at the top. Russell Westbrook, 11,600 in a matchup with the Pelicans. I really do like Westbrook here. I think I would rather play Paul George over him. That's my only hit on Westbrook today, is that I think I would just rather play George for 900 less, but obviously, if you're making multiple lineups, you're probably not going to go all in on one stud. So mixing in Westbrook, I think, makes a ton of sense. I still would prefer Paul George over him, but I do like Westbrook quite a bit today if you can pay up at this position. If you can't pay up, there are definitely other options you can go to. Kemba's been playing out of his mind lately. He's 9,200 in a matchup with the Magic. I don't mind Kemba here. I don't think he's my favorite play on this slate. I think I would prefer Jrue for cheaper. Probably prefer Trae Young for a little bit cheaper as well. But can't deny what Kemba's been doing lately. I believe he's got over 53 DraftKings points in 5 straight games. Just been playing so well. Been playing massive minutes in competitive games. You would expect this game to be competitive here against the Magic. I do like Kemba today, but I still think I would rather play Jrue Holiday for cheaper. I really like Jrue Holiday, and I like the savings you get off of Kemba. Going down to him, $800 cheaper. Jrue Holiday, in my opinion, a really good play today here against OKC. Even with Anthony Davis active, Davis has really just not been doing much offensively for the Pelicans. Just hasn't been used as much offensively. I think he only played like 20 minutes in their last game. Had his worst game of the year, just like 19 fantasy points. We saw Jrue Holiday actually start that game against the Magic at point guard. He started at point guard. Was very productive in the short amount of time he played. Was a 30-point loss, so he only played 24 minutes and only had he did have 35 DraftKings points in 24 minutes, so was very productive. The minutes weren't there just because of blowout. At this game against OKC is competitive. I think we probably get about 36, 38 minutes out of Jrue Holiday here. Really like him at 8,400, especially on DraftKings. On Yahoo, it's a bit tougher to play Jrue Holiday because he's $40 over here. Kemba's 42, Trae Young is 32. I think the $8 savings you get going down from Jrue Holiday to Trae Young makes a ton of sense. That's my only concern about Holiday on Yahoo. But on DraftKings, where he's kind of similarly priced to Trae Young, he's only 300 more than Trae Young. Give me Holiday in that situation. But over on Yahoo, where you get the savings, I really like Trae Young at just $32. Last game against the Lakers, Trae Young looked really good, and he played 38 minutes against the Lakers. That was the first game we've seen Trae Young so far since the Jeremy Lin trade. Him play massive minutes. I would expect he probably plays about 36 minutes on a nightly basis as long as games are competitive. Without Jeremy Lin, you would expect Trae Young's minutes are going to be a lot more higher. We saw that in the first game without Jeremy Lin, 38 minutes and 50 fantasy points. Great matchup against the Knicks. Really like Trae Young here, especially on Yahoo where he's $32 and you get a decent amount of savings if you go down from Kemba to him or you go down from Jrue Holiday to him. But on DraftKings, I think I would rather play Jrue Holiday. I would probably project Holiday for a few more points. Where they're similarly priced, I would take Holiday. Where there's a big discount, give me Trae Young, like there is on Yahoo. And Dennis Smith Jr. is one guy that I like on both sites. $6,500 on DraftKings and $28 on Yahoo. It's just a really good matchup for Dennis Smith Jr. facing the Hawks team that We know defensively against point guards has been one of the worst teams all year. Trae Young, not a good defender. $6,500 price tag for Dennis Smith. Looks really nice. You would expect if this game's competitive, which it should be, we're probably going to get about 35 minutes out of Dennis Smith Jr. Can definitely give you 40-plus DraftKings points in this matchup, so like him quite a bit. The Knicks-Hawks game and the OKC-New Orleans game are by far, in my opinion, the two most appealing games on this three-game slate. Charlotte-Orlando, there's only a few plays I really like in that game, mostly like Kemba, Vucevic. We'll talk about Cody Zeller as a cheap center. I think you could play him. Maybe some Jeremy Lamb, but that's not the most appealing game on the slate. Definitely the latter two are the ones I really like. But yeah, that's where I'm really looking at point guard. I don't think paying down here makes a ton of sense. You could go to DJ Augustine, but just not a guy I would feel like I would be too confident in today. So definitely want to try and fit in some of the top options here if you can. But let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard. So at shooting guard today, Jeremy Lamb's our most expensive option. He's $5,700 against the Magic. Really like Jeremy Lamb here. Hard not to on a three-game slate where there's are not a lot of good options at this position. And over on Yahoo, if you're not paying up for Jrue Holiday, he probably is the best option to go to if you can't get the Holiday. He's $21 over here. Jeremy Lamb lately has been playing big minutes. Also, like Kemba Walker, been playing 36, 38 minutes in competitive games. Last two games, 36 minutes against the Hawks, 38 minutes against the Pacers, 53 and 32 DraftKings points. If we're going to get 36 to 38 minutes out of Jeremy Lamb, especially at a weak shooting guard position, I think he makes a ton of sense at 5,700. Is definitely the guy I would try and fit in. If you can't play, or if you can play Jrue Holiday here if you want to do that. You maybe want to play like Trae Young or something. Or if you want to play DSJ at point guard and then play Holiday at shooting guard, you could do that. But if you're playing Holiday at point guard, then Jeremy Lamb looks like the best option here if you can fit him in. Do want to talk about E'Twaun Moore as a value play. I think E'Twaun Moore makes a ton of sense. He's a cheap option at $3,900. He's also very cheap on Yahoo. He's minimum price at small forward. I think he is definitely in play if we need a value play here. He did play well in their last game. He did put up 26 DraftKings points in 26 minutes. Had a really good game. He shot the ball really well in that game, 61%. On a three-game slate where we're kind of looking for value, I think E'Twaun Moore does make some sense as a value play that we can go to. I would expect he probably plays high 20s in minutes, maybe even eclipses 30 minutes. And at 3,900 on a slate where we kind of need some value, I do like E'Twaun Moore here if you're trying to look for a cheap play. If you're not wanting to fit in the studs, if you can't go with maybe PG and Holiday, if you don't want to pay up for two options, then E'Twaun Moore you probably don't need to go to. But if you're going to want to fit in, or if you want to try and fit in like Paul George and Vucevic or Paul George and Kemba, you're probably going to need a cheap play like E'Twaun Moore. So I think he is an option we can go to today at 3,900 if you are searching for some value, especially on DraftKings where you can play him at shooting guard. And this position's pretty gross besides guys like Jeremy Lamb. But let's go ahead and move on to small forwards. So really like the top option here, Paul George, 10-7 in a matchup with the Pelicans. He is definitely my favorite stud to pay up for on this slate. I do prefer the savings you get going down from him, or going down from Westbrook to him. He's 10-7 on DK, whereas Westbrook's 11-6. On Yahoo, it's a bit different. Westbrook's 53 and George is 52, but I think I would still prefer George on Yahoo as well. What Paul George is doing lately is just insane. The guy's been one of the best players in the league lately. Obviously, a front runner for MVP, playing a ton of minutes in competitive games. Just been scoring out of his mind, been grabbing a ton of rebounds, getting some assists as well. Had a 47-point triple-double in their last game against Portland, 47, 12, and 10. 88 DraftKings points. He played 43 minutes. Paul George right now, he's almost playing better than Westbrook. He's arguably been a better fantasy asset than Westbrook has, or a better fantasy option. So with the savings you get going down from Westbrook, I really like Paul George today at 10-7, especially at small forward where there's not a lot of good plays here. Point guard, you can get away from Westbrook because you have Kemba, you have Trae Young, Jrue Holiday, DSJ you can play here. Small forward, there's not a lot of appealing options. I guess Jonathan Isaac looks pretty nice at 5,800. Len you could play at 5,700. If you want to go cheap, you can play E'Twaun Moore. We're going to talk about Kevin Knox, who I don't mind at 4,900, but I definitely want to try and fit in PG at this position if I can. If you're not going to PG, I do like Jonathan Isaac at 5,800. The guy's been playing really well lately, been playing pretty solid minutes as of late as well in competitive games. We're getting about 31, 32 minutes out of Isaac in competitive games. Only 29 minutes against the Pelicans, but that game was a blowout. They won that game against the Hawks by 16, so that one was kind of a blowout. won the game against Milwaukee by 20. That was a blowout as well. I would expect if this game's competitive, we probably get about 32 minutes out of Jonathan Isaac. And at 5,800, he does still feel a bit underpriced on DraftKings, so I like him quite a bit. Also really like Kevin Knox on DraftKings at 4,900. On Yahoo, it's a bit tougher to fit him in because he's small forward and he's $16 over here. Obviously, Paul George, I'm really trying to prioritize at this position. You have Isaac at 22. You have Etuan Moore at minimum price. I don't see myself playing a ton of Kevin Knox on Yahoo, but on DraftKings, where you can play him at small forward and power forward, and he's only 4,900, I think he is a pretty good play. We're going to get 35, 36 minutes out of Kevin Knox. If this game's competitive, he's going to take a ton of shots. And in a matchup against the Hawks where obviously you know the Knicks are going to be playing at a faster pace, this game does have a lot of appeal for the Knicks because they will be playing up in pace. Knox should be able to get up some shots in a faster paced game, so like him quite a bit at 4,900. Think he can definitely give you at least 25 to 30 DraftKings points, if not a better performance than that. So if you want to go to him as a value play at small forward or power forward, I think he does make a lot of sense. But let's go ahead and move on to the next position, power forward, where we do have Anthony Davis at the top here, who is 9K today in a matchup with OKC. Obviously, AD at 9K looks really nice, but we just don't know what kind of workload this guy's going to have on a nightly basis. Only saw 24 minutes in a blowout against the Magic, and he was not good at all. Only took 9 shots, just 3 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks, just 16 DraftKings points. It was just a really poor performance from Anthony Davis. So far, since he's came back from injury, he's played 3 games. He's played 25 minutes in competitive game and put up 51 DK points. Played 34 minutes in competitive game and then put up 51 DK points again. And then their last game against the Magic, 24 minutes in a blowout and only 16 DraftKings points. If I have to project AD's minutes-wise, I think he probably plays 26, 27 minutes. Probably scores 45 DraftKings points. At 9K, getting 45 DK points is not really a guy I feel like I have to have. Even though Davis has seen a really big price decrease, just still don't know if I could go there. In tournaments, on a 3-game slate, I think you could definitely take a flyer on Anthony Davis. I don't think there's any way I play him on Yahoo. He's still $54 over here. He's more expensive than Westbrook. He's more expensive than PG. Definitely won't be playing any AD on Yahoo, but on DraftKings where he's 9K, if you want to take a shot on him, I think it's fine. If I was playing one lineup in a tournament, wouldn't go there, but if I'm playing a lot of lineups, I'd have a little bit of exposure to AD. Wouldn't fully fade him, because at 9K, there's definitely enough upside for Anthony Davis where he could go for 60 DraftKings points and really kill you if you don't have him. But there are some other power forwards you can consider if you're not going to AD. John Collins at 7,700 looks really nice if you want to play him. Jonathan Isaac, I mentioned, I like quite a bit at 5,800. If you want to go to him, value-wise, I don't really see any value that I love here. Probably going to be paying up at this position if I can with a guy like John Collins or Isaac. Those are the guys I'm really looking to go to. But let's go ahead and move on to center. So at this position, there obviously is a top option here that we're probably going to want to consider paying up for since it's just a 3-game slate. Nikola Vucevic, 10K against the Hornets. I don't mind Vucevic today. I would have him behind Paul George. I would have him behind Russell Westbrook. On a 3-game slate, I'm not going to fully fade Nikola Vucevic, especially because he's one of the few studs we have on a 3-game slate. But if I'm making one lineup today, I don't think Vucevic's going to make it into that one lineup. On Yahoo, he's a little bit easier to play, or I would say it's a little bit. He looks a little bit more appealing on Yahoo because he's a lot cheaper than PG. He's a lot cheaper than Westbrook. But center, over on Yahoo, there is some good value. We're going to talk about Cody Zeller in a second. I don't think you have to pay up at that position. But if you can, obviously Vucevic is probably the most appealing option if you want to go to the top. But I did mention Cody Zeller on DraftKings at 4,800. You could definitely play him. I don't think he's as necessary because of how you can play the positions. Like you can play Collins at center, who I like quite a bit. On Yahoo, it's a bit different because obviously guys don't have dual position eligibility. If you want to play Collins, you have to play him at power forward. On Yahoo, there's really only like 4 or 5 centers I see myself playing. Most likely Vucevic, Steven Adams, probably DeAndre Jordan, and Cody Zeller. Cody Zeller, a guy that I do like as a value play. Last game against the Pacers, he did see 34 minutes, almost 35 minutes, 33 fantasy points in that time. You would expect, if this game's competitive, Cody Zeller probably plays upper 20s in minutes. I don't think he plays 35 minutes again, but that is something good to see. See him out there playing 35 minutes. At least shows that he can be out there if he needs to be. But I would expect he probably plays 27, 28 minutes, can definitely give you high 20s, low 30s in fantasy points, and at $14 on Yahoo, I do like him as a value center, especially since we need some value. I don't think you have to pay up at this position on Yahoo. I think you can definitely go cheap here. If you can get up to DeAndre Jordan, I would prefer that, but it's hard to do that on a slate where we're searching for value. Those $6 it takes to get up from Zeller to Jordan might be a little hard to find, so if you need the savings at center, I do like Cody Zeller as a value play, especially on Yahoo. On DraftKings, like I said, I don't think you have to play him here because you can play Collins at center, who I like quite a bit today. DeAndre Jordan's 5,900, that looks really nice. Steven Adams is 6,200. He also looked pretty good at that price. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for center. I think that's it for the video, so hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you click that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, good luck tonight on this 3-game slate. Enjoy the All-Star break. We'll see you back again next Thursday, I believe, with another NBA video. Peace.